This week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast is brought to you by listeners like you. Head on over to patreon.com/Run, Eat, Drink podcast and subscribe today. Fans, founders, and insiders like you help us keep the Run, Eat, Drink podcast going. And we thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Jeff Galloway, and you are listening to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 150 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Welcome to the show.
We can't thank you guys enough for joining us. If you're jumping in on tonight's live stream, we are live broadcasting this episode, or live recording this episode,
Yes.
As we stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, a.k.a. Twitter.
I always forget about Periscope, but it's there. I think I've damaged the camera because I'm like blurry.
I don't think you've damaged the camera.
Are you sure?
Are currently
sure?
I'm positive we're currently chewing away on video in the background.
All right, then.
We have things going on.
And then you also have our dogs chiming in the background.
The dogs are chiming in the background as well. Danny likes to be vocal and let us know what she's thinking about. Welcome. We're glad that you guys could join us, everybody.
Yes, anybody that's in the chat who has joined in, drop in a comment, say hello.
Yeah, regardless of which platform you might be watching on, if you're watching at all.
It does not matter.
And we have kind of I don't want to say a reminiscent show, but we are doing a show tonight that is letting us do not only look forward to an upcoming race, but we're also going to be looking back a little bit at one of our favorite races to do. And if you caught the title of this episode in the live stream or in your podcatcher as you're looking at what you've downloaded, we're going to be talking about the Donna half marathon or Donna Marathon Weekend.
Which also includes a half marathon, which we've normally run. So
Well,
that's where you're thinking about that.
Yeah, we don't normally run the
I'm
marathon.
saying.
That's a little much for us.
Yeah. I mean, we tried twice. Not the Donna itself.
No.
But we've tried.
We have tried to run the marathon distance, not once, not
twice,
but 3 times, and we have been thwarted by the universe.
Somehow, some way, I feel like eventually you're going to give in and you're going to run one with me. I don't know if that's true.
I've got a pretty good idea.
Why? What, you think the answer is no?
When you nail down another celebrity chef to run the marathon with, like Art Smith.
Are you kidding?
I am not.
Okay.
See, there are a couple of bucket lists in this relationship. She's got one, I've got one.
What is your bucket list item that I don't know about? Right?
The more important one for the purposes of this conversation is, what's the one bucket list item we don't share?
The marathon.
The marathon.
I know, but you said you would do it.
I did. I said I would run this year's Disney Marathon with you and Art Smith.
We're having a whole debate now. Yes, but it was only because Art Smith said he would?
Yes.
But you wouldn't run it at the Donna. Come on now. Think about it.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
can get a whole lot of personal fulfillment out of running the half at the Donna. I'm just saying.
I know. But wouldn't you want to run that distance at that special weekend that we will do every year no matter what? No.
We trained,
Okay,
the year that we trained
fine.
for the Disney Marathon, the first year we trained for the Disney Marathon, we got up to 25 miles in our training runs.
Here we go.
And I can honestly tell you
Here we go.
that I have never, in my off days during a training cycle, been more sore
I know.
than I was.
I don't think we did it right. Were we e-coaching with Jeff at that time or no?
Yes. Absolutely.
We were?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't that we weren't doing it right. It's that we were running 25 miles.
And that was before we went plant-based and before we lost the weight.
Yes.
It was a lot more to carry. So
You can sell it however you want. I cannot wait to be your cheer squad.
Okay, whatever.
At Chicago.
All right, you're just not going to.
We'll see.
You're not going to do it. I got it.
It might happen.
Okay, whatever.
I wouldn't hold my breath. Let's put it that way.
Uh-huh.
But no, on this week's show, we're going to be talking about the Donna Marathon Weekend.
I'll be over here with my beer.
It has gone virtual.
Upset.
And this is a race that is near and dear to our heart because it...
Yes.
I'm looking at some of the comments that are dropping in.
Jessica's in the chat.
Feel the burn, feel the victory. I don't know if that's what victory feels like. You can have it.
Well, she's coming off a great weekend, a personal best or a PR in the 5K at the Tour de Cape. And she's coming off of a 30-mile bike ride also at the Tour de Cape back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was sporting Run, Eat, Drink podcast swag that supports the Donna Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. It was stylish, and I'm willing to bet might have had something to do with your amazing performance in that bike ride.
Here we go. He's gonna say. Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
Really?
The Run, Eat, Drink podcast scientists have told us that in their research they have figured that Run, Eat, Drink podcast shirts make you run and cycle at least
we have so many
12
scientists.
to 17% faster.
We have so many scientists on our staff, on our humongous staff.
In the podcast hours.
Yeah, right here.
But
Debo, welcome to the chat. Jessica is being so supportive, let me tell you.
She is.
You totally got this, Dana. You could do it. She's trying to convince you virtually to run the marathon.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You're ganging up on me.
I'm trying. Listen, I use what I have.
I appreciate it.
I use what I can.
So this race is very near and dear to our hearts because the Donna Marathon Weekend is a race that supports families that are battling breast cancer. And
yes. They have a loved one. They have a family member going through it. It affects the entire family.
Yeah. So, and this year, the Donna made a very early decision to make the 2021 race go virtual because of the very unique set of circumstances surrounding that race.
Yes.
It is not uncommon when you go to run the Donna up in Jacksonville. You're on the course and you're running that race with breast cancer survivors. You're running that race with people running in memoriam of people they may have lost to breast cancer.
Yep.
You're also running that race with people who are currently undergoing treatment very often. They made a early decision to take this virtual because they didn't want to take any chances with people who might be immunocompromised, and we totally understand that. And it was a hard decision, but in doing so, the race organizers have pivoted the race to something different, unique, and giving participants the opportunity to do something really cool. And you can actually do these distances that they're offering over a period of many days.
28.
Yeah.
You can do it as long as you register by Valentine's Day, because that is when registration ends. You have, if you're not submitting results for time, you have until the end of March to complete your distance.
Right.
So yes and yes.
I think that's just a phenomenal option.
I'm just saying.
And the distances. So now this might be the way to do a marathon. Okay, the distances are starting as low as 0 miles. And yes, you heard me.
0 miles.
Miles.
Yes.
For those of you who are out there that like watching and listening to us because of the food and drink offerings, and we've got several who've contacted us are like, I don't know about the running part, but I love the food and drink you guys talk about.
That is true.
We have the race event for you. You can do tremendous good by supporting the Donna Foundation.
Yes.
You get a cool car magnet that you can put on the back of your car. You know, those that show off the race distances you've done.
You can show off
0.00
0.00 miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get to be part of our team. And we're going to talk about that
That's true.
In a little bit. And
Yeah.
you join in regardless of the distance that you might want to run.
Yeah.
You can also go with a 5K,
Yes.
a half marathon,
True.
the full marathon.
Yes.
And for those of you that look at the full marathon and just go,
Chump change.
amateur hour,
Chump change.
or are just not impressed by the marathon distance, you can do an ultra virtually. Better yet, you can do the ultra virtually over that period of 28 days.
Yeah, you could spread it out.
You can spread the whole thing out.
Yeah. There are some people like Fun Size Jen, who sometimes pops in on our live chats and our coffee chats and Instagram, and she did a marathon over the span of 13 hours, I think 2 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. That might be the way to go for you.
Yeah. If you're wanting to do that, if you're wanting to get that distance in, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So the point is the Donna Marathon Weekend 2021 has a distance for everybody, has just a way to support that fantastic organization that is the Donna Foundation in many ways. Join our team. We also have, if you don't want to join the team even for 0.0 miles, and get that cool car magnet, you can also visit our store hosted by Pure Creative Apparel. And we have fabulous shirts like these. Yeah. Got it.
This particular one has my mom's name on the sleeve.
Yeah, I'm sporting the black one, but if you looked at our social media over the weekend and on Monday prior to this show dropping, then you saw Jessica in some Run, Eat, Drink podcast swag that's sporting the breast cancer ribbon and what we would normally make from those purchases that you normally do to support our show. That will go to the Donna Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That is going to this amazing organization that's helping these families. So all of that said, here is our interview with Amanda Napolitano, the executive director of the Donna Foundation.
I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts, and you know why it's one of my favorite shirts. We have been to the Donna Marathon Weekend, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yes.
3 times. And we have been so excited and so moved at that weekend in Jacksonville. We featured it on our podcast many times.
And we've even talked about it on other podcasts, saying that it is an experience you should have.
Yes, yes. And today, to talk about the virtual experience you should have, we are excited and proud to welcome to our show Executive Director of the Donna Foundation and Boston Qualifier, Amanda Napolitano. Welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you for having me to your show. It's wonderful to see your faces.
Normally, we would be seeing
Cheers.
each other's faces over a hot coffee. Tonight, we're having it over a cold beverage.
Yes, we are.
We normally see you on the Friday morning of the Donna Marathon Weekend at Southern Grounds over some hot coffee and just we do the social shakeout run on Friday. And
that's the best secret. One of the best secrets of the weekend, isn't it? It's like we put it in the schedule of events. We tell everybody about it.
We love it.
The coolest thing. You are literally doing a 3-mile run with about maybe 20 people.
It's not too many.
I mean,
It's so
not too
nice and
many.
easy.
It's super intimate. And you're like running and going, oh, hey, Joan Benoit Samuelson. Oh, well, hi, Jeff Galloway. My name's. Where else do you go where you can just run a beach street with like super famous people in our world?
Olympic royalty.
Yes,
and
Olympic royalty.
And like literally get to know them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take pictures with them, live out the dream of being on the course with them and kicking off such a meaningful weekend for everyone.
That's one of my favorite events, mainly because I get to actually do it. But it really does personify who we are as a family. We really do get to know you guys and everybody that come, and we're family.
Yeah. We can't tell you how many valuable connections we've made at that race that starts off the weekend, the social shakeout run, because we met that fantastic group, the Bouncy Hunters.
Yes, Andy Sharp.
Yes.
Dr. Sharp.
She's one of the most inspiring people we know. And she literally, from the minute we met her, just took us in as friends. I think the first day we knew her, she's like, yeah, come on over to the house. And
She's, yeah, sure. I'll be on your show. Let me just talk about my experience. And it all started from the social shakeout run and the t-shirts they were wearing. Yeah. And you just never know. There have been so many connections tied to the Donna Marathon Weekend that before we talk about the Donna Marathon Weekend, can I just take a little bit of flashback and ask you, the Donna Foundation was created by the chief eternal optimist, Donna Deegan. Tell us a little bit about that foundation and how it got started in 2003.
You bet. I don't know if some of your shows are archived where people could go back and listen to your conversation with Donna. She certainly shares her story beautifully. But Donna is a 3-time breast cancer survivor, triple negative breast cancer survivor, and was the anchor of our local news for many years and experienced her breast cancer in front of this community. And so when she was diagnosed for the second time, after she had really played out her first diagnosis and treatment and the hair falling out and the whole thing in front of the whole community with the cameras following her and everything. In the second diagnosis, she was really hesitant to go through that again in front of the whole community and instead started an online blog. And back before there were such things as blogs. But anyway, she began to hear from people all over the community of, we're supporting you, we're praying for you, but this is my situation. I have breast cancer too, and I'm having to choose between whether or not I can have my treatment or go to the grocery store. Literally, if I go to treatment, then I'm not going to make rent this month. And Donna, in the position that she was in, the wonderful human being that she is, said, I have to take advantage of this megaphone that I have here and try to help these people. And so the Donna Foundation was formed in 2003 to do just that, to meet the financial critical needs of families living with breast cancer so they didn't have to make that decision. And from that point to now, we have served more than 14,000 families.
Wow.
Yeah, and secured over $3.5 million for those families in financial support. So we do really important work that way. And I will tell you that this year has been...
I was going to say,
oh my
2020 presented unique challenges for the community.
It has been overwhelming, really. Our Donna Care Line is how patients receive support from us. It is a phone number you can call, an 800 number you can call, talk to one of our case managers. Our team will look at your financial picture as a whole and try to find as many resources as we can to secure debt relief for you. And then if you qualify, we also have grants that you can apply for and receive to help, pay the rent or pay a utility bill, et cetera. But gosh, over the last summer months, about 78% year over year increase in call volume to that line.
Wow,
97% increase in the month of November. So it's definitely seen an impact because of what we're going through as a nation.
Yeah.
As a world, really.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, we need people putting one foot in front of the other and participating in our events.
Yes. You have multiple events. You have the Players 5K, and that's usually in May.
It has been in May because the Players Championship, who is our partner for that event, has been in May.
Yeah.
That tournament, that golf tournament, is now in March.
Okay.
So we have moved the Players Donna 5K to October to align with Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then the one that we know about that we have participated in for the last 3 years after our coach, Jeff Galloway, said, you got to get in on this because it's the one you cannot miss. It is the one that everyone says you should do. It is a bucket list race. It is, you just have to, even he talks about it like that, even over and above his own race weekend. And we love them both dearly. We have not, sadly, done all 14 years. We're not what we call streakers. We're not streakers, but it came together in 2008, did it?
Yes, our inaugural year was in 2008.
And what was the impetus for having a marathon?
Jeff was a part of that. It all started with Chris Twiggs. You guys know Chris, right?
Yeah.
Chris and I were leading the local Jacksonville Galloway training program here. And we were training people to run the local marathon here. And Chris met Donna and heard her speak about the foundation. And he came back to me and said, we have to do something about this. We have to help her. And she's a runner. She's selling T-shirts at the various runs around town, Run with Donna. And that's how she was raising money for her foundation, was through T-shirt sales. And we thought, wouldn't it be fun to train people to run the marathon and raise money for the Donna Foundation? And so we pulled Jeff over and said, Jeff, go talk to her. Go introduce yourself to her. And this was at a local race expo here in Jacksonville, the Gate River Run Expo. And big. Jeff and Donna became fast friends immediately. And they both thought that was an amazing idea. And Donna was an anchor for our news station at the time and put it out to the community and said, hey, we're going to train for a marathon and raise money for the Donna Foundation. We thought success would be like 10 people show up. We really didn't know what that was going to look like. And we had 100 people show up. We raised over $80,000 for the Donna Foundation in that first year to go run another event. And
we thought, a whole lot of T-shirts.
That is a lot of T-shirts.
Yeah.
So after we did that a year or so, Donna and Dr. Perez at Mayo Clinic and Jeff Galloway sat down and talked about, there is not a traditional marathon for breast cancer. There are 2-day walks and there's 5Ks, but your traditional, and y'all know how much I love the marathon. It's just this, I just love it.
It mirrors life, right?
It does. And for the journey of survivorship, all of it's just so powerful. And there wasn't one. And I remember Donna calling Jeff and saying, do you think we could do this and be successful? And Jeff, of course you can do this. He's supportive of just about anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. We launched this thing, and the inaugural year in 2008 was amazingly successful. I think we had over 7,000 people come, and from all 50 states and 20 some countries. And it was outside of my children arriving to this earth, I'm not sure there was a more special day for those of us that have watched this thing sort of birth. It was amazing.
It's grown. So it was a marathon the first year you had it?
And we had a marathon and a half marathon.
Okay. And then over the years, you've had 5Ks, you've had 10Ks, you've added an ultra.
We have.
Yeah.
So
you've had a variety of different distances so that anybody could get in on the magic of this weekend, really.
Yeah.
So now it's become a destination for so many.
Yeah. I was going to, you said magic. And I think that leads me to ask this question is, I know what it is for me, having lost my mom to stage 4 metastatic breast cancer in 2016. But we've seen this race become popular with the entire spectrum of runners. And we really are the podcast for the everyman runner. We are the back of the packers, the people who are probably never going to win. We love Andy Sharp. We're never going to be as fast as Andy Sharp. She's a machine. The elites are great. There's a lot of people in the middle and the back. And we see this race appeal to everybody, regardless of their skill level. What do you think it is that has made this race so popular across the spectrum of abilities?
I'm not sure that there's another race out there that is truly giving back with every step. And I think if you find yourself paying for someone's coffee in the car behind you, it makes your day, right? All day long, you feel awesome because you think about that person that you've touched, that you've helped, that you've supported. I just think that by lining up at this event, that you're doing something that's bigger than you. Now, yes, it's a 26.2 mile beach block party and there's spectators lined up and we have a lot of fun. Yes, it was originated with a Jeff Galloway training organization that really appreciates those back of packers, that puts on a 26.3 mile party at the end to do our very best to be standing there in the finish line for the very last person. So I think all of those things are very appealing. Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach and Ponte Vedra Beach and Jacksonville Beach, there's no worse place to be in February. There's a lot of that magic, but I think at the end of the day, we are all about love over fear. We are all about lifting one another and celebrating survivorship. And no matter who you are, that feels awesome.
Yeah. No matter who you are, and this year, no matter where you are. I know that last year you all had to come together and make the difficult decision to say, what are we going to do with 2021? And how are we going to turn it into an experience and make the decision to take it virtual? And now you've rethemed it as everywhere together. I'm sure it was tough.
I think Donna's message of a love over fear was something that I personally experienced in making that decision. I think it was a incredibly difficult decision to make. It was one that I really didn't have a choice making, much like a diagnosis, right? You didn't have a choice. I went in my closet and sat in the corner and cried. I was devastated that I had to make that call. But then you make the choice. Okay, I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to be grateful for what we're going to be able to do. And we're going to focus on how we deliver a Donna experience to neighborhoods all over the nation.
I applaud what you did in the video, your message in the video when it first went virtual. That could be a viral video because the emotion, the positivity, the passion, and the way you presented the reasoning, because everybody needs to be safe to come back together in 2022, was just so well made and so well put, and you delivered it so well. How was it received?
You know what? Beautifully. Truly, I think I was surprised at how many people thanked me for making the decision early, for not trying to, let's just wait it out and see. And so I think people were very appreciative that we had a plan, that, okay, this is the plan and this is what we're going to do. I will tell you that our partners have been so supportive. Our sponsors, our partners, they have been incredibly supportive. We clearly can't do this without them.
Right.
And again, thanking us for the decision, appreciating and respecting the decision. And it was really well received.
Yeah.
We're all disappointed, right? Of course. Naturally. Yeah. But it was really the only decision that we could make for our organization and for the people that we serve and the patients that we celebrate. It was the only decision to make.
It's the right one.
And honestly, I think that when race organizers dangle a carrot out there that they, in their heart of hearts, know is not going to happen.
Or shouldn't.
Or shouldn't.
For the safety.
Then I think that ultimately that creates more frustration in the potential runners and participants. Yeah, I really appreciated it. We were just as sad as you were.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to be on the receiving end of your emails that week. I'm just going to say, but I am really, we appreciate that you did that. And we're sad to not be reuniting with our friends and people up there who inspire us at this race. But we've had to pivot as well. We've been doing a lot more virtuals.
True.
And there are benefits to going virtual. Can you talk about some of the benefits that you see and the biggest bonuses to the Donna going virtual this year?
A couple of things. One, for our runners out there and for our walkers out there and for our I do a little bit everydayers out there. Yes, it's still a competitive event. People can race anywhere between February the 6th and February the 14th, submit a time. We're going to have overall awards. There will be a Tiffany and Company Trophy Award etched for the winner. We will have age group awards. All of those things are still absolutely in play. And the cool thing, if you're super competitive, is that if you go out on, let's say, February the 6th and run a 5K and you think I didn't do well that day, wait a few days, run it again, submit a better time.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can, there's a mulligan this year.
you can have a do-over.
You can have a do-over. So there's that. But then also, so many people have always wanted to earn a marathon medal or earn an ultra belt buckle and go those distances that they would never go all at one time. And for our Do It Your Way side of the plan, you can run it over time. You can set out and do a mile a day until you accumulate your 26.2 miles and earn one of those gorgeous Donna Marathon medals.
Yeah.
So I think that really opens things up to introducing new people to running, to our cause. Having come from the Galloway organization 15, 20 years ago, my favorite thing in the world is to look at somebody and say, yes, you can. They say, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And so it's like that one more that we're going to be able to bring into the fold.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's super exciting and not even at all about running, we have had on our vision board for several years, this idea of having a patient conference. There's already a medical conference that Mayo puts on for medical professionals, like a CME. And I've always wanted to stand up a patient conference beside it so that as these experts are talking about what's new in breast cancer therapies and talking about all of these really incredible subjects, what's going on with clinical trials, can we take those experts and put them in front of an audience of patients and their families and the community? And let's have a conversation with those of us that are impacted. But you know what? That takes a lot of time and a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh my.
But this virtual world that we're in this year, my very small and amazing team, right? We didn't have as much of the normal things to do with closing 26.2 miles of road. So this year we put a lot of energy, not only into our virtual experience for runners, but also standing up our very first ever patient summit. And it's called How to Be Fearless. It will be an online seminar series that will stream live on our website on the Friday and Saturday of race weekend. So on the 12th and the 13th. And it's a beautiful combination of really important topics like health equity and clinical trials and what's new in breast cancer therapies with Dr. Perez and experts at Mayo Clinic. But also Lindsay Hine has 3 elite athletes talking about what it's like to be an elite athlete and raise children and be a mom. Of course, Jeff Galloway is going to talk about his mental training and how to run fearlessly. So you'll have to check that out on our website. The agenda is amazing, and we've been recording all of the sessions, and it's just been so much fun.
Oh, that's incredible to be able to do that.
Yeah. And we wouldn't have been able to do that in a traditional year. So that's the blessing in this virtual environment, the adoption of the technology. And I'm hopeful that this is something that we can continue to deliver for years to come in the same format, where we're not having to invest in conference centers and
plus the more expensive way that you would traditionally host something like that.
Providing lunches and
prohibitive.
Yeah. And your hours of content. So your breakfast and lunches. And it was never something we wanted to charge people for. This is education. This is empowering people to learn more so that they can do more. In fact, there's a session about becoming your own advocate.
Which is so important. So what I love is the Active Experience app and the way you all have that set up for the virtual. So people download that on all of the things, all of the technological devices, your phones and all that. And you find the Donna and you see the athlete's guide. You see how you can submit your results and things like that. But what I really love is how you've taken, there was the very first year we did the Donna, it still finished out at the Mayo Clinic. And there was still that huge bridge at the end. And I specifically remember Dana signing one of the big pink walls that says love, hope, all of those big pink signs that have been signed by survivors, by people who are running in memoriam at the top of that bridge. and how moving an experience that was. And I don't know if you can talk about how it came about that you brought that into the app, into the experience app.
It was really important to us that we're not going to be the organization that just gets a registration and ships you a medal. We really do want people to continue to have that experience. It is a part of the survivorship journey to really be mindful about what this race means. And so the inspiration boards were absolutely something that we wanted to emulate. So we have our tribute wall. It's presented by Cornerstone, amazing partners of ours. And it allows you to submit a photo and make a tribute. So you can run in honor of someone. You can simply say where you're running. Hey, I'm running from Massachusetts. You can talk about what inspires you. I live out love over fear by. So it's just, it is a way to sign that wall and put your visual on it. And then the wall is just simply growing. So every submission we have, the wall is just getting bigger and bigger. And you may not know this because we're just starting to roll this out. Did you guys meet Curtis Loftus, the artist of all of our official marathon posters for years and years?
No.
Next year when you come, I'm going to introduce you to Curtis. But the same artist has designed and painted our official race posters from the very beginning in 2008.
Those are gorgeous.
And his concept this year is actually an official race poster that will come after the event. And it will be an artist rendition of all of those tributes. So everyone needs to put their tribute in so that you can be a part of our official art for this year, because that really is what this year is all about. It's, yes, we're all in 100 different places, right? We're in a million different places, but we're all together under this one common mission to finish breast cancer. And so the art is the running ribbon, but inside the running ribbon is all of the tributes. It's so beautiful.
I can't
I'm
wait.
I'm speechless right now. That's amazing. What a tribute.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm speechless over here. You go.
I know.
You go.
I cannot wait to see this. We have to get some a photo uploaded.
Oh.
I think that'll be phenomenal.
Yes.
You said that people can tackle these distances. They've got time. They can do mulligans, because things are virtual. But you've also added a distance, as I recall, that's a new.
I don't remember it being last year, but I could be very wrong.
I believe it's new this year for maybe people who really don't want to run.
We did roll it out last year.
You did.
Oh, you did.
We did.
All right.
We did.
Let's still talk about it though.
Yeah. But yes, it is the Donna 0.0. Inspired by that friend that says, I only run when I'm being chased.
We have some of those.
Yeah. When you're trying to get your friend to join your team and to run with you or to support your efforts to fundraise for the Donna Foundation.
Yeah.
And you've got the person that just, I'm not going to run. You know what? You can not run, but still support the cause, still register for Donna Marathon Weekend for the Donna 0.0. And we'll even send you a magnet to put on your car that says 0.0. It's the best.
I love it. Oh.
My neighborhood has been an amazing saving community this whole quarantine land. We've been gathering out in the cul-de-sac and getting to know one another, and it's been beautiful. And we all ran together for the Players Donna 5K.
Oh.
And my next door neighbor, Chris, he was one of those, nope, not going to do it. So it was my favorite moment to go and put the Donna 0.0 magnet on the back of his pickup truck.
You did
Fantastic,
it for him.
Yes.
Yep.
That is great. But
I talked him into running the 5K this year.
Ooh,
Excellent.
See? You're getting in there. You're doing all that in Galloway mental training and
that's right.
That Galloway, that you can do it.
And he has no idea. Once he starts, that's going to be it. He'll be doing, next thing you know, it's a half marathon.
Yeah. It will be funny to see if seriously, are we going to be talking about my neighbor Chris next year of completing a half marathon? That'll be amazing.
Oh my gosh. And I do love, we talked about the 0.0 and you talked about it before, but I love on the website. And by the way, we're going to link to the foundation. We're going to link to the Donna Marathon website. We're going to link to all of the things. But yes. But what I love is for the marathon distance and for the 110, I can't tell you how many conversations that Dana and I have had because we've never done a marathon and we've been foiled twice this year. So
it's not for lack of trying.
We've tried. We registered for Chicago, got in. We tried to run Walt Disney World's marathon with Chef Art Smith. We've talked so many times about what do we want our first marathon to be. And I think the Donna it would be an amazing one. But I love how if somebody is dreaming like that, I love how the 28-day plan is out there from the Galloway training program where you can actually make that happen. And it breaks it down into sizable chunks, manageable chunks of mileage. I love, love, love that.
Yeah. Chris Twiggs and Jeff Galloway put those schedules for us together, 28 days of Donna.
Yeah.
So it takes the 26.2 miles and the 110 miles and gives you a plan.
You
and
can do it.
Just follow the plan. And at the end of it, we'll send you a medal.
So before we talk about the whole name of our show is the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. And before we talk about eating and drinking, is there anything else that you would like our Runcation Nation to know in terms of how to find out more or anything else you'd like to share with them before we actually question you about the eating and drinking?
You're going to put out all of the links. I would just say that now more than ever, this organization needs the support of everyone out there. If not supporting the Donna Foundation through participating in Donna Marathon Weekend, let me just give a shout out for every race organization on the planet right now. They need all of us supporting whatever it is they're putting out there. Because when all of this is said and done, we want to line up at our favorite races again. And unless we decide, I'll run a virtual event, that may or may not happen. So just think about your favorite sport here, peeps, and keep those dreams alive and register, because race organizers are really working very hard to deliver these experiences and pivot along with the rest of us.
Yes.
And then I think the only other thing I will say is that we do have a fundraising campaign going with our Everywhere Together program, and we have a $100,000 matching gift opportunity. So our goal is to reach $300,000 in our fundraising efforts, and we surpassed the $100,000 mark on Friday.
Oh, nice.
And if we get to $300,000, we get a $100,000 gift match from a special donor. So go team, go.
Yes.
Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we're going to have links to all of that.
Of course.
But now that we've talked running, it's time to start talking some food and drink. And we want to not only reminisce a bit, but we also want to look ahead to the time when we get to run together in Jacksonville again. We've talked with so many who are listening to the show about doing a meetup.
Yes.
And so many people, we've talked about this race so much. I think that's probably going to be our first Run, Eat, Drink podcast meetup.
It has to be.
At the next, the next Donna race. We're very excited to do this. If we're able to cross the finish line again in 22 or beyond in Jacksonville, I want to know from you, what is your go-to post-race meal to celebrate when the confetti has stopped falling and the race is broken down and you get the last runner across the finish line and you get that moment to, relax. What do you go for?
Oh, wow. Wow. I would say that if I'm going to go and find my family to celebrate after the race, I'm headed into Taco Lou.
Lou.
Yes, Taco Lou is the best taco you'll ever have. The owners have been huge supporters of the Donna Foundation for years. We have a Tacos for Tatas event that we've had there.
Tacos for
Tatas.
Tacos for Tatas. Yes, it is a wonderful place. They always do something special for the runners. So when you roll through there with your medal on, you're going to get a wait staff there that's woohoo. And they have one of the best tequila bars that you'll ever find. I think there's a word for a tequila sommelier. There's like a word for it, I think.
I'll have to do some research.
But I don't remember what that is. But they have a legit tequila bar there.
We will figure it out.
Their sangria Rita. Oh, mwah. Yeah, that's some good stuff. That is some good stuff.
Well, we've now got a place added to the list.
Yes. Now, okay, so that is in the Atlantic Beach, the Neptune Beach area?
So Taco Lou is in Jacksonville Beach. So it's on the island. It's on Beach Boulevard. You'll find it.
So,
well, we'll link to it.
Yes.
On your recommendation alone, we're linking to that.
Why not?
But then we
have to go there.
We have to go do research.
We have to experience the margarita sinks. Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
ingenious.
It's yummy.
Brilliant. Now,
Yeah, and bangin' shrimp. You got to have the bangin' shrimp taco.
I was going to ask which tacos in particular do you recommend?
Bangin' shrimp taco is delicious. Deb's Verde is one of my favorites.
Ooh, that sounds
I like anything Verde just about.
Yes, I think.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, they're all good.
All of it.
The great thing is that the way the menu is set up with all of the various tacos, like you can, I want one of those and I'll have one of this and I'll have one of those.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mexican street corn and yeah, it's delicious. It's yummy.
Yes.
And if you go in there to tell them that I sent you and ask for Deb and Don, those are the owners.
Deb and Don.
Deb and Don, we're going to be sending the Runcation Nation your way.
Yes.
So
Woohoo.
Runcation Nation members up are heading to the Jacksonville area here soon. You now have a place to go and check out. But
yes.
now that we've talked food,
well, she
alluded to
she alluded to beverages also.
But is the sangria Rita the post-race beverage you're heading for? Or is there something specific that's maybe you have a tradition or maybe just that thing that you must have, the go-to?
Yeah, I would say that after a run, I'm definitely grabbing a White Claw. It's so funny. We actually have a race team this year, Hold My White Claw.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That we're all running so that we can finish and have a claw. But
I can
really,
tell you that my first White Claw ever was at the Donna.
Yes.
Last year.
Yes.
they're an excellent partner.
It's fantastic. Yes.
And my second and my third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to keep going now, don't you?
We spent some time in the Runners Village. Is
We
what I'm
did.
saying.
We did.
It's a great runners village. We have a lot of
Actually,
fun.
you have, I think, one of the most fun post-race Runners Village setups for any race we've ever done. And whether it was having a couple of years ago, we got introduced to Poe's Tavern. When they had their food tent there. And it was actually really inclement weather that year. It was super windy, super chilly, rainy, and they were just grilling burgers like crazy. And then they're like, oh, by the way, our full sit-down restaurant's around the corner. So not only did we have food there, we had food there.
Yeah. It's delightful.
But
Did you see Edgar Allan Poe on the wall? And because they usually decorate him. It's hysterical. You have to see Poe.
Yes.
I think
this huge wall. He usually has a medal on.
Yeah. I think we have some pictures from last year.
We do. We do.
From 2020.
And they were very good too. Us and the other runners that came in after the race.
There's nothing like that drunken chili on nachos or a burger or whatever.
No.
There's no shortage of food and beverage in the Beaches Town Center at our finish line. We could talk for 2 hours about all of the yummy places there.
We could. Yeah. But
Lemon Bar. Have you guys checked out Lemon Bar yet?
Oh
no.
Oh,
can you tell us more?
Yeah.
So the Lemon Bar is our beachfront bar at the Seahorse. So Runners Village is literally in the parking lot of Seahorse. And so that little Florida motel has one of the coolest beach bars on the beach side. So go around to the other side of the building and the Lemon Bar is there. You can have a beverage and overlook the ocean.
Ooh.
And what a beautiful view, by the way.
Right?
Again, when you're talking about places to run, the course is overwhelmingly flat, but the view when you're done, you're a stone's throw from the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah. And it has that finisher feel, but you like in the morning, it has some of the most beautiful sunrises.
Oh, yeah. It's all
before you go out on the course. Yeah.
Lemon Bar, we're going to link to that as well.
Yeah.
Let people check that out.
Okay.
Amanda, we cannot thank you enough for spending some time with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Amanda is the executive director of the Donna Foundation, fellow runner, Boston qualifier, and inspiration to us.
Yes.
And
we cannot wait to see you run that, Boston.
Me too.
Boston strong.
Yes. We'll get there eventually.
Yes.
I hope. Maybe. We'll see.
It's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Yes. We will be together.
Yeah. But thank you so much for taking time with us today on the show.
Thank you so much for having me and for recognizing all of the love that we have here at Donna. We love you guys back for sure.
Runcation Nation, we have a special website set up. It is runeatdrink.net/Donna. You'll be able to click a button and join our team so that we can help raise money for the Donna Foundation. And we cannot wait to see our team numbers swell and get this much needed money in the hands of these amazing people so they can help these families who are fighting the battle against breast cancer. It was just so nice to sit and talk with her. We normally get to see her every year when we go up, and
she's so positive and she was so generous with her time with us. And she does it right. She and her team are incredible. Did you see Jessica in the chat saying that how the shirt was so comfy?
Oh.
Did you see that?
I see that.
Yeah.
And there it is.
So comfy.
And yeah, again, makes you run faster, bike faster, according to the Run Eat Drink podcast scientists.
Yes. Because Amanda, she talks about the genesis of the foundation, the event itself, and everybody that came together to get that off the ground and make it so successful. And next year will be their 15th year.
That's amazing.
So I'm just saying, yeah, I know that some of you all are jumping in and joining us live, and we love it. We just hope that you will take also time through your favorite podcast provider and listen to that interview as well. Yeah.
Josh, does it lift and separate? Asking for a friend.
What?
The shirt.
The shirt? No.
While this is a shirt that is funding breast cancer research, it doesn't have any of those features built in.
Oh, it doesn't.
Although
it doesn't have a built-in
maybe we should explore perhaps a sports bra or something for the ladies.
Oh, it doesn't. It does not have a built-in sports bra that supports and all of it. It's just, but it is a fabulous performance T-shirt material. So everyone needs one. Jessica is like the walking billboard from the weekend. And
thank you, Jessica.
She is providing the testimonial in the chat as we speak.
But we're going to have a little bit more about that and how you can join in on the fun in a little bit. But I think that now that we've caught everybody up on the big upcoming thing to look forward to, and that race is going to be, the race registration is going to be closing on February 14th.
Yeah, if you want to submit official results for the 5K, for the half, for the full, for the ultra, you have from February 6th until February 14th to submit your time through the Active Experience app on your phone.
Very nice.
Yes. And the Active Experience app you should check out as well. And Amanda talks about it in her chat with us, because you can actually go in there and you can upload a photo and you can tell a story about who you're running for.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing something special with that.
It's going to be amazing.
It really is. One thing that we wanted to do was, in addition to talk about what's coming up with the Donna virtual, we wanted to talk a little bit about food that we have enjoyed there while we are in the Jacksonville beaches area.
Yes.
And Jennifer is commenting.
Oh, this is my former student.
Some of the questions regarding the functionality of the shirt, and
they don't lift and separate. No, they don't. Sports bras, they just support.
Good to know.
That's all I'm going to say.
Guys, we're gonna be behind the 8 ball here. Just trust the ladies on this one. Okay.
That's all we're saying.
Just saying. Let's see. We want to show off. However, there's some fantastic food that we have been fortunate enough to get to enjoy while we are up at the Donna.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those races that we enjoy, and just the deliciousness that is available in the Jacksonville beaches area when it comes to the food scene.
It's vast.
It's surprising too. And I don't know why I'm so surprised by it, but we just had no idea that it was going to be this
good.
Yeah, this plentiful in that town.
When we first came to do the race 3 years ago. So this week, instead of, and we're still going to be bringing you healthy options and healthy recipes, but
this is all about honoring LaDonna, and this is our pitch and our persuasion to get everybody ready for, as Jessica says in the chat, 2022.
Yes.
When we're hoping that live races return, and to get your engine going and introduce you to the quality of food and beverage that you can expect in the Jacksonville area. Yes.
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 So let's see.
Yeah.
We are going to see if we can show you
We're going to do it.
some photos
I
here.
feel that it's going to be successful.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this here, Amy's going to have to help narrate some of these.
Well,
'cause
yeah.
She's got this amazing food here. I believe that this is from one of the food items from Southern Swells.
This is Southern Grounds.
Southern Grounds, excuse
Southern
me.
Grounds. Yeah, you're getting ahead, to the
beer.
beverage
Dang it.
portion, and
Okay.
that's okay because we know you got the beer in front of you, so it's fine. This is Southern Grounds. So Amanda, in her interview, she talks about the social shakeout run, which starts the weekend off. It's not an official run. There's no medal. It is one of the greatest things. It starts at a place called Southern Grounds, which is a coffee shop.
Yes.
There's a bakery, there's food, there are lunch items, there are breakfast items. What you see before you right here right now is their pancakes. And their pancakes are just fluffy, buttery goodness with traditional maple syrup. And
And they're cooked to order.
And they're cooked to order, yeah. So you go and you do this social shakeout run, which is through part of the course of the Donna, but it's just 3.1 miles. So it's like a little 5K to get your butterflies out if you are doing your first marathon, like you might.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah. And you get to be up close and personal with some great people and then have great food. And it's just... The Southern Grounds Cafe has great coffee and great breakfast items that you can you sip on the coffee, you wait for these to arrive, and they are worth the wait.
They really are.
Yes.
These are absolutely some of the fluffiest, most delicious pancakes ever. But I still tend to go for savory.
I know that,
in
which is
breakfast.
why I included this.
Yeah. Now, when you start talking about this, I don't want to call it hipsterish, but
Yeah? No.
avocado toast.
It's like new. It didn't happen when it was not a part of our generation.
It wasn't, but
You know what I
this is
mean?
one of the best things
So-
that comes from it, because now I can get this amazing sourdough toast with this killer sprinkle of feta cheese and fresh heirloom grape tomatoes and
So good.
microgreens and a perfectly poached egg on top.
And this particular version, Jenny Ann, she comes in with the pancakes, and then we just go on to the avocado toast, and it's getting better. So you want the pancakes, but you also want the avocado toast, because they have regular avocado toast, but this is like the guacamole version. So you could see the red onions in there.
Yes.
And there's cilantro, and you know that there's lime. And like you said, the perfectly poached egg, when you break into that, it's just the perfectly runny egg that mixes with the different textures, like the fresh snap of the tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep. The tomatoes are nice and juicy. The egg is perfectly cooked. You get the runniness of the egg, but they actually kind of par cook that interior a little bit, where it's more of a gel than it is a super runny.
But you still get the runny part.
You do.
You still get
You do.
some of the runny part. It's not totally, it's like that fabulous in between.
But
I love it.
there's also
Num, num, num.
a place that we discovered.
Oh, yeah.
We actually discovered this spot and what's pictured here when we were fortunate enough to be at the Runner's Village after the race.
Yeah, they had a tent at the 5K, at the official 5K, and we came out, and it was just that year. It was so breezy and just windy
and freezing, and yeah, it was blustery weather for sure.
Yeah.
And so, this is a spot called?
This is Poe's Tavern.
Poe's Tavern.
Which is, you finish the Donna, you finish the Ultra, the Marathon, the half, the 5K. We didn't even talk about the Booby Trap Challenge that we are actually registered for, but
we'll talk about that a little bit more.
At any rate,
before we get to the drinks.
When you finish, you go into this runner's village, and it's one big party by the beach.
Yes.
Celebrating your accomplishments. This is the place where you can get a beverage in the runner's village. You hear music, you see other runners, you see the award ceremony, and there is a little tent. And in that tent that we discovered, it said Poe's Tavern, and they were doing sliders at the time.
Yes.
And they're like, but they were so smart because they had their menu right there. So we were like, oh, all of these burgers are themed after Edgar Allan Poe's stories and poems. So the Raven, the Telltale Heart, this is the Sleeper.
The Sleeper.
The Black Cat.
I believe that's this one.
Which is like the blue.
The one that I ordered?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one, the burger, which is enormous and perfectly cooked, this one is topped with buffalo shrimp and blue cheese. And the Sleeper that Amy had, that is I believe their drunken chili, bacon, and cooked onions, as well as, I want to say, is that pimento cheese?
Oh, no. I had it backwards. Oh. My apologies on the titles.
Oh, okay. So yours
the Sleeper is yours. The Sleeper was yours. I'm sorry. The Sleeper has roasted garlic blue cheese. That's yours. And buffalo shrimp on the burger.
That thing.
That.
It's insanely good.
And then the Black Cat was mine that you're looking at here, which has the grilled onions, Edgar's drunken chili, applewood smoked bacon, and pimento cheese.
Yeah, the drunken chili there is fantastic. And their tie-in to last week's episode, of course, we talked about making a vegetarian chili and giving an option in the preparation to, if you didn't want it to be vegetarian, how you could swap out the cracked wheat for ground beef.
Sure, like
and
this has.
Also, if you wanted to swap out some of the water for beer. And that is what they do. And they do it to the point where you actually get that just amazing bready flavor of the beer without it tasting boozy. It is just...
Okay. That's all I'm saying to you. Okay.
The next spot that
This goes back to our very first Donna weekend.
Yes.
Our very first. And this is from the Black Sheep. This is from the Black Sheep up there in Jacksonville. It's guitar-shaped pasta, and I always butcher the name.
Oh, it's pasta alla guitarra, and that's
alla guitarra.
Yeah, and it's it's more not so much the shape of the pasta, but they liken it to guitar strings. That was something to do with that. So
yeah, like it's shaped like that or made like that because they made it.
They actually, the pasta that we're showing in the feed, if you go back to our early episode where we actually cover the Black Sheep, we do the video.
This was episode 20.
And the chef is hand making these pastas. And it is the most perfectly cooked plate of pasta in North Florida I think you're going to find. This particular dish really leans pretty heavily into the sweetness of butternut squash, or acorn squash, excuse me.
I mean, and we actually had a cooking demo from the chef there.
We did.
And there are pine nuts in this. There's cheese and butter in the sauce.
Yeah, it's a slightly sweet, slightly savory, creamy, just amazingly velvety sauce
And
over perfectly cooked pasta.
Yeah, and it's vegetarian, but you can add porchetta
Yes.
or duck confit for a fee, an extra fee.
Small upcharge.
And it doesn't need it. I'm telling you, it doesn't need it because there's that buttery, cheesy, perfectly cooked al dente homemade pasta goodness. But if you want to go next level, you can.
You can.
Okay. That's all I'm saying to you. And that was, so that was one we covered in episode 20, and that was video.
And we're going to be linking to the old episodes that we're talking about in the podcast show notes. So check those out. We'd love for you to go back and check out these video segments from way back in the day when we were a primarily video podcast first.
And then some of them are from more recent years where we just broke down the dishes.
Yeah.
And talked about it. And you'll see the episode artwork. And because Southern Grounds is, it might be video, actually, because we were getting ready to have our 100th episode. That might be video.
Maybe so.
Because we were doing 98, 99. It might be video or it might be broken down very well. That's what I'll say. Because that's episode 98 is Southern Grounds. Episode 52 is video. That's Post Tavern.
But we'll have links to these episodes in the show notes, so you're not going to miss out on anything.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's just delightful, as is this place. And this is a video, episode 100 at the Bearded Pig.
And yes, this is some of the best barbecue you're going to find in Jacksonville, bar none.
This is the brisket. I think the picture just speaks for itself.
But for those that aren't watching the video, you have to picture the most tender, succulent brisket
Dana.
that will just pull right apart.
I'm having a moment. Oh my God. It's like a whole platter of meat celebrating just the best of barbecue meat. And Chad Muncie, he put our platter together in this episode and just took us on a perfect tour of a barbecue platter. So good.
It really was.
sorry.
And not only their main meats, but also their sides. Their sides
I thought
game
that was unique.
was incredibly strong.
Right?
And they even offered, it was kind of interesting that a barbecue place that does a ton of meat every day focuses on offering at least sides that vegetarians could eat.
You can make a really filling meal out of their sides. And I want to say the next slide that I have in there is a picture of the beans.
Well,
Or
that's
no,
one of the
we're getting there. We're getting there.
They're insanely large ribs.
There, yeah. So the beans, there's coleslaw, and that's fantastic. Their pickles are just tangy and delish.
House-made pickles.
Yeah. They're so fresh. You can still see that same green color of the cucumber. Mm-hmm. Oh, but really, they won't tell you the recipe, but these beans are money. And they are vegetarian.
They're completely vegetarian. They don't put any meat in the recipe to make the beans. They do a mixture of I think 3 or 4 different kinds of beans to include pinto beans, red kidney beans, lima beans. They had a tang and an acidity to them that I wasn't expecting.
Apple cider vinegar, right?
Yeah, I think. And it was just such a satisfying juxtaposition. So if you wanted to have something a little tangy to cut through some of the richness of the meat, it was
just do it
perfect
if you want. Yeah, and they also had greens.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those were vegetarian as well. Weren't they?
Yes,
I believe
they were.
I believe they were.
They wanted. He specifically said they wanted to have a lot of side offerings for people who might be vegetarian, but didn't want. Maybe have a vegetarian or two in your party. They didn't want the party to not come there just because it's a barbecue place,
right?
And to have something to offer and. Their sides, like making an entire meal out of sides is a very Southern thing to do, but it's very popular
It's
in a lot
so
of places.
great
It really
to
is.
do it. I mean, it's like when we're at Chef Art Smith's Homecoming.
I do.
Yeah, the sides can be the meal. And I think it's the same at the Bearded Pig. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I've put the photo up of the next beer that we're going to talk about. But before we go on to the drink portion, normally this is the time of the show where we tell you guys all about our Patreon and we thank those of you who have become patrons. We're not going to do that tonight.
Tonight, we're going to talk about the Donna Marathon Weekend.
Yes.
And our team that we have created. The Donna Marathon Weekend is one we have often talked about. And
It's the subject of tonight's show, in fact.
it is. And we could probably put this up on the feed as we talk about it, if you want.
I can try.
It's one we've often talked about as a bucket list item. And in fact, we went on another podcast called Experiences You Should Have and talked about this. And we didn't even have to think about it. We didn't even have to talk it over when she said, what's the one race everybody should do that you've already done? And we both almost simultaneously answered Gail, who is the host of Experiences You Should Have, the Donna Marathon Weekend.
We did.
The Donna Marathon Weekend.
Without
It's
even
incredible.
hesitating.
Yeah. So it's a bucket list runcation, as you have heard in our food options here tonight and on the show, in Amanda's very passionate interview and in the stories that we tell as well.
Yes.
Months ago, amid the pandemic, there were so many unknowns. I think they were smart to go early and they went virtual early.
Yes.
And so we didn't even give it a second thought. We said, we're going to register, we create a team, and we want you to be a part of the fun.
We want you to join our team.
Yes. And we registered. Now we can talk about it.
We can.
We registered for what they call the Booby Trap Challenge, which I think Josh, our patron, would just love.
Yes. It's a play on words.
It's a play on words because the Donna Foundation supports breast cancer research and supports families and those who are fighting this disease. So you can do any of the virtual events ranging from 0.0 miles.
Which a lot of people are going to like that option.
Yeah, you can do a 5K. You can do a half marathon. You can do a full marathon. You can do an ultra. You can also do what we're doing, which is the Booby Trap Challenge, which is the 5K, and the half, or the Booby Trap Challenge, the version that is the 5K and the full marathon.
Right.
And anywhere between the 6th of February and Valentine's Day, you can download the Active Experience app on your phone and you can submit your results. So if you register, make sure you register at the links in our show notes and on our website before Valentine's Day, because that's when the registration stops. If you can't do it, like I can't do it right now, like I can't run for 8 weeks
Right.
post-surgery. So I registered for the Booby Trap Challenge. I'm going to complete those miles before March, the end of March. The last day in March, that's the last time that you can get in there and you can submit your miles and your time. And you will get your medals. You will get the experience inside the app, like we were talking about the walls.
And that's going to be in that's what you heard in the interview that we did.
The honor walls.
Yes.
Yes. I just can't recommend supporting this organization enough. So we created a team. We were not as creative as those people who talked about their White Claw team. Like Amanda was talking about the White Claw team. I forget what their name is.
Right.
Officially now. But our team's name is the Run, Eat, Drink Podcast team. You can run the distance of your own choosing at your own pace in your own time. Just register before Valentine's Day. And register at runeatdrink.net/Donna runeatdrink.net/Donna. runeatdrink.net/Donna. Those are the links that take you straight to the registration pages that are tied to our team.
Yeah, you're going to see what, if you're in the live stream right now, you see the website. It's got the slideshow of photos from past Donna Marathon weekends, and
Booby
you've
trap
got
medals,
a little description, and then a couple of buttons. One button is if you have not registered yet. That's to take you straight to brand new registrations. Or
all the distances.
if you've already registered but you aren't on a team, you can just
Join our team.
So either way, we would love to have you. We want a huge team to run and raise money for this amazing organization.
Yes. So again, go to runeatdrink.net/Donna and click on one of those buttons and join our team. Support the Donna Foundation.
And we cannot thank you guys enough for supporting the Donna Foundation and
supporting the Run Eat Drink podcast.
Exactly. I just want to make sure that I didn't jump out of the show by accident.
Did you? We're
No.
back.
We're back. There we go. Okay.
We were just excited to show you
I had
the
I had
page on our show.
Technical issue there. Let's see. Let's try this again. So we're going to show everybody the screen, and we're going to share the application window so you can see the beers that we're talking about here.
Because now we're going to start the drinking section of our show.
There we go. Now, I saw Jessica ask. She wants to know what it is we're drinking while we're chatting with you. Well, since
we should know since we're starting the drinking portion of our show.
Yes, since we are talking about the Donna Marathon Weekend,
you're holding it up.
we
That's
wanted to drink something tonight that was appropriately celebratory and supportive of the cause. And our friends over at Barrel of Monks Brewing, which is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, make a product here called Witty in Pink.
Yes. And we actually found it this year over at Total Wine.
Yes.
They had some bottles. Typically, Barrel of Monks brews this in October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And their beer is distributed at Total Wine, ABC, and we just found it at Total Wine, and we just wanted to make sure it was very appropriate for this show and for... we may have some stowed away that will actually be post mileage celebration when I actually do the miles.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what we're drinking.
That is what we're drinking. Now, this is a Belgian wit beer. This comes in at, I want to say, 5%
Yes.
ABV.
Yeah.
Super light, very refreshing, very raspberry, which is great. And Susie Beck just jumped in.
Welcome, Susie.
The chat. Hey, Susie. So let's see here. We have
It's their Belgian. It is their Belgian wit.
Belgian wit
with
raspberries.
raspberries.
Yes,
So-
actual raspberries, not
So,
like a raspberry syrup.
Yeah. So it has a pink tint to it when you put it in a glass.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this that we're going to be showing you here is one of the beers from one of our favorite breweries in Jacksonville that we managed to feature on the show as a video. And this is Intuition Ale Works. And this particular beer is really interesting. This is a beer inspired by, of all things, Dungeons and Dragons.
How appropriate.
Yeah, because I'm a big D&D nerd, and my wife puts up with all sorts of geekery from me. Intuition Ale Works does this barrel-aged Imperial Stout. This thing is powerful. It tops 10% ABV. I want to say it was...
And people line up for this when it launches in February.
This
right
is
before the Donna Marathon Weekend.
a super seasonal release, and they do this enormous release party where in the brewery they are actually having people come in and play Dungeons and Dragons.
And that brewery is huge, and it has a rooftop bar, and you can see the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium from it.
Yes.
So
it's diagonally across the street from the stadium.
There's plenty of space.
But that was just one of several amazing breweries that we discovered in the Jacksonville area. We also found this little spot called Wicked Barley Brewing.
Yes, it's actually right around the corner from the hotel where we stay all the time.
Yes.
When we go up to the Donna, we stay at an Embassy Suites on Bay Meadows Road. And this
Right down the
place
street.
is like a hop, skip, and a jump. 5 minutes away. Very short Uber ride. So lucky. They are actually on the water, so they can have people come up by boat.
Yes, and they actually have their dock leads right up to the back of the brewery.
Yeah.
Or one side of the brewery, and
It's beautiful at
Go right
night.
in. Yeah.
Beautiful at night.
they've got an amazing space. And what I think is so fantastic about them is that they're a brewery that really focuses on their food game.
Yeah, they have a professional chef in their kitchen, professionally trained, formally trained, and their pretzel and their beer cheese and their mustard, they're made with, this is kind of like jumping back to the food portion, but so we talk about Wicked Barley Brewing in episode 51, and we actually had them sit down, the leadership in the brewery.
Sit down and walk you through a flight, right?
Walk us through a flight. A general manager and someone that I just had messaged back and forth through social media, luckily, was able to arrange the whole thing. And I can tell you their mead game is super strong. I really enjoyed that blueberry blossom mead.
Yes. You would think that's going to be really strong on the blueberry. It's not. It's just a whisper of blueberry, but the fact that they're doing a mead from blueberry blossoms, I mean, come on. How crazy is that?
Delightful.
But wait.
Yeah.
There is more.
I mean, we had a whole flight, and that's really great. But then also I wanted to throw in a non-alcoholic one.
Yes.
That we had when we visited Southern Swells. Right next door is Mini Bar Donuts and Coffee.
And this place is doing one of my favorite coffee drinks that we've ever done on the show.
It's a cereal milk latte.
They do cereal milk lattes. So you go in, it's like, oh, I want a latte, but I want it with like Fruity Pebbles.
Was this
milk.
the Fruity Pebbles, or was this Cocoa Puffs that we did?
I did Cocoa Puffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they had, I think, Fruity Pebbles, maybe like a Cap'n Crunch. So they basically soak the recipe, or they soak the cereal in the milk, and then they strain it, and then that's what they're making these coffee drinks out of.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying is. And speaking of Southern Swells,
I did maybe mention them a little bit earlier because I had them on the brain.
Yes. Because there's Southern Grounds Coffee, which is so great by the beach, and then Southern Swells Brewing up there that we credit, along with Greg at Nice Guys Pizza here locally, for schooling us in the ways of IPAs.
Yes, we got an excellent lesson from our friends here at Southern Swells on the differences that hops make in IPAs, and actually really opened our palates to exploring some new options where we would normally turn our attention elsewhere when we saw IPAs on the menu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Back to Intuition Ale Works.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to throw in, it wasn't just the Dungeons and Dragons homage. But
no, they have plenty of beers. Plenty of beer offerings.
So this is kind of out of order. Sorry.
That's okay. And then last but not least, we're going to close out the drink portion here with a cocktail.
The Dusty Boot from the Black Sheep. It's a bourbon beverage. What can I say about the Dusty Boot except...
You want one?
Yeah. Here. Old Forester bourbon, simple syrup, lime, lemon, Jerry Thomas bitter, smoked sea salt, and a cracked black pepper rim.
A cracked black pepper rim.
Which you can tell in the picture. So, but anyway, it's delightful. It's amazing. If you're a bourbon drinker, try it.
Cannot recommend it enough. So the point of all of this was to give you guys a bit of a walk down memory lane for us, from things that we experienced when we were at the Donna over the last 3 years.
Yes.
Things that we are going to miss this year, and things that we are looking forward to, in addition to exploring new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, when we go for the in-person.
Taco Lou, did she say?
We were told Taco Lou.
And the Lemon Bar.
Back to the Lemon Bar. We realized that we'd actually been to the Lemon Bar after
It's like, was that
thinking
that
back
place
on it.
by the beach after the... It was. So, yes, we've been there, but we may have been too exhausted
Well,
after the race.
That, and we were also seated. It was very busy, and we got seated right next to the DJ booth, right next to the speaker.
It was super loud
And my
because
tinnitus was not having that.
we were late to the party. So it's always a challenge at a popular place to find seating.
Yes.
So there it is. Susie Beck is in for 2022.
I can't wait. We are super excited.
I think we have a few people that are maybe planning in the future should the races return in 2022 for a Runcation Nation
Meetup. I think that's got to happen. But in the meantime,
Yes.
we talked about joining our team. Please head over to the website, runeatdrink.net/Donna. Check that out. Pick your distance, whether it's 0.0 miles or 110 miles.
Yeah.
Or something in between. Pick your distance. You've got all that time to run those miles. You're supporting an amazing organization. You're supporting these families who, in some cases, like she talks about in the interview, are having to choose between their cancer treatment or rent for the month or go into the grocery store.
And they shouldn't have to do that.
And the Donna Foundation has secured over $3.5 million in funding for these families to help them out.
And the need is even greater
This
after 2020
So
and heading into this year.
we hope you'll consider joining our team and helping us support the Donna Foundation. We are excited to do it. Next year, we're going to be even more excited to do it back in the Jacksonville Beaches area with you guys.
Oh, yes. Here's hoping. Fingers crossed. We will be completing a marathon or half or an ultra or...
Not an ultra.
unequivocally
say I am not running.
We might have ultra runners on our team. I don't know.
We might have an ultra run, and we will support you, ultra runners. We'll be out there. We'll be your cheer squad.
We'll be cheering you on from the deck at Post Tavern or the
go.
Lemon Bar or somewhere like that.
And we'll toast you when you cross the finish line.
Yes.
But you know what that means. I know. We are going to be wrapping this episode up for this week.
Yes.
Next week, what do we got planned? What's coming up? I think we got something special coming, don't we?
We have another interview, and I know that I teased and that we recorded a very special interview last week. We are still in the middle of processing and editing that because that man gave us so much of his time.
And you have said who it is.
Bart, so...
The mayor of Running.
Was amazing.
And we're going to be sharing that with you guys.
Yes, but I needed a little bit more time. And we also needed to ramp up our team.
Yes.
For the Donna. Because, registration ends on the 14th. So.
Yeah, it's time to get out there.
We got to get it done.
Get on the team. Get going.
Yes.
We are super excited.
Yeah. So Bart's, I believe, will be... coming in February after we get everything together. And next week, we will get back to tools that you can use that support you in your running journey and your healthy eating like we have been doing since the beginning of 2021. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed. So for now... You're reading
Sorry.
the comment.
I'm so sorry.
Amy's like, Jennifer's in the Ultra Marathon Slow Club.
Anyway, I was just getting excited by people in the chat, and really thank you for tuning in on the live while we recorded the show. We can't thank you all enough for your support, and we can't thank you enough for joining us on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, wherever you listen to us. We are super thankful.
We are.
I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe, stay well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.